I am on. People, welcome. Today I want to talk about painting number 71. But you know what, Kenny? I've got a beautiful photo here that might be just as good as what we see on there. Because
and this is also on her news feed. Mom, I think this is going to be better unless you have a really big one.
Yep. Okay. Yes, that's gorgeous. But you could show this if you want to.
Sure.
Because I prepared it specially.
Specially prepared.
Specially.
And now I'll show it in detail. And you can start talking if you like.
Okay. And Greg is here. He's usually not here and telling us when we can hear or not hear. But today's a very big day. It's his birthday. He is 60 years old today. And after this, they're going out to dinner.
Yay. Do you want to start talking about the painting?
Yes. First of all, when I was given the commission, it was to do their home. And I didn't want to do people's homes. I wanted to do New York. So since they were a Chinese-American family with Italian as well, I thought that is such a terrific combination for New York City, because Little Italy and Chinatown are next to each other. And if you ever want to eat well, go paint there and bring food home. Because when I came home from the painting days, I would bring Italian pastries and I would bring Chinese vegetables, and it was wonderful. So this is the painting that Kenny just showed you. The glory of that area is the colors. The buildings, let me just have you see again.
Okay, yeah, I'll do it with this.
The buildings. The Chinese decorations are beyond words. The Italian food was beyond words. And the wonderful thing for me was when I started to paint all the Chinese signs, a group of kids would always come by and say, "Lady, that's not the way the writing has to be, because you're saying a word that isn't there, that doesn't exist." And they would coach me. So I loved sitting there because they would help me. And then they would write all the correct way of saying something. And as for the Italian people, they also adopted me immediately. Let me show some of the people from there. Kenny, you will know who is Italian and who is Chinese by their appearance. And most of them were eating all the time. And I'm going to also show you the beginnings, because everyone always says to me, "How do you begin? And after you've begun, how long does it take to be finished?" I could never answer how long it takes to be finished, because I found out that the only way to do the work correctly is to do a few paintings at the same time. On my horse. Oh, you know why?
Do you want a drink?
No, it's okay. The trees are shedding. Not yet. If I need to, I'll ask. Okay, but I want to show you some of the people this man is only here because it shows part of the unfinished painting. It'll make you understand how I begin.
Do you want to say anything about these beginnings?
Yes, when this part is done, I begin to figure out what goes on the street. Cars, trucks, etc. And in the corner of this painting, you see a window.
1 second, Mom.
Yeah.
Just so they could really see the beginning of this.
You will see the corner of the painting of the window. Thank you. Great, thank you.
Want to have some first, Mom? Want to have some?
Oh, yes.
No, you want to have some?
No.
No?
Yeah, maybe I should.
Maybe, yeah.
But my neighbor Gary said the trees are shedding so much and we're all sounding funny. Kenny, did I show you the beginnings?
Yeah, you showed this one.
Yep.
This one you showed, and then you showed the one with the cars and the people beginning.
Okay. Now, I want to tell you something about this amazing area.
Should I take these?
Yes. Thank you. And just so that you have an idea who the people are, I cannot show you the people, but I can show you how many real people are in there by showing you the list.
Oh,
but in such a way that they can't read.
Can I just show something?
Definitely.
This is a paper where they showed her how to write Chinese
oh, good.
characters and names like Chemical Bank correctly.
Oh,
This is
thank you,
her
Kenny.
cheat sheet.
And that's all done by children. Show them all, Kenny.
Okay.
Those are the sketches that I did. And children learn Chinese. And I tried and couldn't. Because I remember buying for my Joni and Kenny flashcards which had written things. Yeah, that's the sketching of the beginning. And can I have you read what I wrote in back?
Sure. Corner building before bank is about half the bank size. White building next to bank goes to the bank like this. 2.5 white buildings in bank. Blue building goes to the beginning of the windows. 5 floors and stores on the red building. 5 floors and stores in the gray building. Stores beneath. Little red building is the same height as the pagoda.
Thank you, Kenny.
And I think I have one more.
This will give you an idea of
2.5 pencil widths lengths into building. Citibank. Okay.
I'm so glad I have this. You know, it's like discovering a whole culture. And then you realize that children learn this, but they also learn Chinese and English at the same time. friends of mine who are in the painting, you remember when I spoke of Johnny Lau? He's in painting 70. His mother used to take him to learn Chinese writing and about the Chinese culture at the same time that he was learning English. He is so bright. He learned so easily because of his mother, because she had him learn 2 difficult languages at the same time. And here's what somebody wrote about you, about me. 2 things. Unwittingly, I have become a living apprentice of contemporary archaeology. Even before I finish a painting, the street scenes which I depict are gone. Buildings are torn down, new ones come up. It is almost as if I am in the middle of a frantic chase, trying to archive what is quickly being buried. I thought to myself, I am doing a tiny bit of preservation here, to show some children of tomorrow what was here before, and most importantly, who was here once, of those of many, many real people. I know I have captured not even a morsel of the anthropological history of New York City, but in my paintings, whoever is there, she stares skyward again, then looking down, this time with a broad grin, will be there. Okay.
Wow.
Okay, now let me read about the area, because it is fascinating.
Can I read the next part?
Sure.
Folks, I just want to read the next part that this journalist wrote about Hedy. Now Hedy's this continues right after she finished. Now Hedy's look turns grim. Slowly, sadness covers her face, and it sinks into virtual despair. There's very little energy in her voice, but a quiet strength braces every word. She looks you in the eyes when she speaks, pleading humbly. I am witnessing daily something horrible happening around us. It is the homeless people. I have seen them for many years. They have always been there. It is such a heart-wrenching sight, especially those young ones. I'm a mother. It kills me to see the pain behind these people, young and old. Even though I see so many of them so often for so many years, I cannot get used to it. And it is getting worse. Hedy knows that she is not broadcasting any news, but she is not apologetic for the emphasis. Every day, the pain gets more painful. And then Hedy's words underneath. I don't remember who wrote this about me, but even though they were my thoughts, I would never be this dramatic about expressing them. I don't remember who wrote this, but it doesn't feel like me.
Okay, I wanted to speak about Canal Street. Canal Street, which jury rigs Brooklyn to New Jersey. I don't know what that means. Kenny, would you
read this whole thing?
No, just start over here. The whole thing is fascinating.
Canal Street, which jerry-rigs Brooklyn to New Jersey, is the place to go if you want to jerry-rig something. Stores on Canal Street sell a lot of duct tape, extension cords, plastic sheeting to put over your windows in the winter, staple guns, twine, plastic wood, miracle glue, quick-drying epoxy resins, and multi-plug connections.
Okay. What I'd like to tell you is, when Eric began being a picture framer, we would go to Canal Street because we couldn't afford the equipment he needed. So he bought all kinds of things there that he then fixed himself. He would buy sheets of plastic and cut them, and there would always be a store closing out, and he could buy things there. Canal Street was the place for bargains. Also, when he needed light for our business, we would go to Canal Street where they sold fixtures. It is no longer there, not that time. And people nowadays don't seem to go to junk stores to find equipment. In my time and Eric's time, which was a good 50 years ago, it was taken for granted that you didn't buy new things. Someplace, somebody would have something that they weren't using anymore. And a friend of mine came to visit me today, Martha. Martha is skilled with the needle, and she's skilled with paint, and she's skilled with doing things. And she wore this wonderful green, I guess I'll call it apron. It was an old curtain or something, and she sewed pockets. She's got the greatest pockets in that thing. There's a pocket here, and a pocket here, and a pocket here, and a pocket here. And she doesn't need a bag. And I love people who do things that haven't been done and put into a store. In New Jersey, we lived in Hackensack. We lived next to a little old man who went into scrap places where they sold scraps, and he made clothing out of it. In those days, the poor wore them. You know, somebody would buy something for their child, which is one kind of pattern here and another pattern now. Nowadays, that's fashion. So don't throw things away. Are there any comments?
Sure, tons of comments.
Okay.
And I will read them. So, Janine is here, and Marilu is here, and Eileen says hello, and Marilu says hola, and Tracy Hepner says you sound good.
Oh, great.
And Eileen says, and Hedy looks stunning. Amy says, Hedy, beautiful as always. And Eileen says, happy birthday, Greg.
I want to talk about Greg. And he's shy. He doesn't speak much, but he knows so much. And he was in the technical world and was brilliant, but decided on a second career. And he is now a financial advisor. Not only does he advise me, but a lot of people go to him and ask him the questions, because things have happened where there aren't little booklets anymore which tell you how to do things. For example, when I plug my computer into to be charged, suddenly all the little signals disappear. The thing which looked like that and meant this is now gone, and instead there are other little things, and I've tried them all, and I can't figure out what they mean because I'm afraid of losing what there is in there. So yesterday I tried to send a story to my wonderful relative Jose, and it didn't move. It just sat there. And I wrote to him that I had wanted to send him stories because, like me, he wants to record the world. And I wanted to show him how I began doing that. And nothing moved. So today Greg has spent quite a bit of time, because Jose said, can you find somebody to help you? I have Greg. And if he can't do it, maybe I'll, God forbid, have to pay for it for somebody. But if Greg can't do it, I don't think anybody else can. But he doesn't give up. Okay.
And if anybody needs help with Medicare, any questions about Medicare, this is the man to talk to for free. And he's a real expert in that. Forgive me for putting in that plug, among other things.
Well, whatever Greg does, he doesn't stop until it's solved. And I remember the first time when Eric decided that he wanted to learn how to do a computer. Now this must have been over 50 years ago, when nobody had computers. And so he hired a high school kid who was bright. And what happened was, he found out that people just keep on trying, because there really are no textbooks anymore. Now, let me read to you something wonderful about the city of New York. The reason I picked Chinatown and Little Italy is because of New York. So, I would like to read you something that my wonderful writer friend and photography friend, and I'm going to let Kenny read it.
Okay, this is from Hernan, who all of you know from here, and from other places as well. It's about New York City. This is a city that remains fiercely alive, brimming with generosity, heart, and spirit. Has it changed over time? Yes. Does it look different? Yes. Is change perplexing, confusing, scary, and challenging? Yes. Do I believe there is any place in the world that has remained the same over time, unchanged from the memories of my youth? No. My eyes remain wide open to the present, here and now, this new, old, familiar, alien city, to this city that doesn't stand still, this city that doesn't sleep, this city that doesn't give up. These wires, those strings that connected us still remain, running through this new landscape, tying the ghosts and memories of the old city to this latest incarnation. The New Yorkers remain, not giving up, not fleeing, holding tight, arguing, complaining, adapting, assimilating, celebrating, and living.
John Taracusa wrote something wonderful at the same time, and that we will hear next week.
And there's more that people wrote. There's lots of hearts coming for what Hernan wrote. But should I continue with... So Eileen says, happy birthday, Greg. And Marilu says, happy birthday. And Sandy is watching. And Marcia Goldstein-Graber is watching. And Paula Lakshin is wearing. And Marilu says, yummy, yummy, from when I showed the picture of the Italian pastries from your photographs. And then Eileen says, Chinese and Italian, great combination. Delicious food and people. And Linda Zwerin is watching. And Eileen says, the beginnings of your paintings are so very cool to see. And Tammy gives a heart. And Eileen says, I love a good junk store. And Michelle is watching, and she says, hello, Hedy, and everyone's so happy to finally catch you. Happy birthday, Greg! And Linda says, it is lovely to see your beautiful face. And Michelle says, Greg is so sweet. And Michelle says, Hedy, you are stunning, inside and out. And Eileen says, Greg makes things move. And Linda says, happy birthday, Greg. And Michelle says, Hernan has a new puppy. And Amy Lauren says, how many 90-year-olds recognize that old clothing is considered trendy today? Hedy, you are so inspiring. Oh, this is so beautiful. Not just for your supreme talent to paint and capture a moment in time, but for how you always immerse yourself in all life has to offer. I just so admire how you have stayed current with the times and remained so aware of all the nuances in this crazy, ever-changing world. And Janine says, this is wonderful, I think in response to Hernan's poem. And Michelle says, what a brilliant writer. And Marcia says, we were listening to Hedy while driving home from the beach. So now we are sitting in front of our house, listening in the car so as not to miss a moment. We love you, Hedy.
I love you all back. You know, it's a funny thing. If I would have known when I began this that it was possible to reach the world at no cost, because Facebook does not need a publisher, it does not need a typer, a corrector, or anything, whatever the words are. And yet I can reach all of you with what, when I was 8 years old, I wanted to do, which was to show to people, don't hate each other, get to know each other first. And that's why I do the real people. But who knew that I could sit here with Kenny and Greg, or whoever is working with me on this, and say words when they come straight from the heart, and have you understand me. So go out and get to know people. Maybe you'll sit on a street corner one day and you'll know why I am so happy in my life. I wouldn't change my life for anybody, because that first leap into the unknown of being so insulted by people who didn't know that I could speak Yiddish and Spanish, but they took it for granted that I can speak English, so they said things to me like, it's good you keep busy, when I began, but I also understood the oy vey, gewalt, and kijke malo. And I knew I would have to live through it. And then I quickly would make one window perfectly painted, so that, and then I could say, don't worry, eventually the rest will look like that. That shape over there, that'll grow up to be Carlos from over there. And, but I did not yet have the courage, Hedy, to wear the red beret. Okay? Give me time.
How about next week?
I promised him I would do it this week.
Oh, should we grab it?
No.
Next week?
It's in the closet right in back of Greg. On the side. Do you see it? Thank you.
Here we go.
Again, lots of hearts.
Lots of hearts, lots of hearts.
I don't quite know how to do it, but does it look okay?
I'm no good at this, but there we go. And how do you do a scarf? I don't know. There we go. Hedy, do you approve? Ed is on. He says, Hedy, you did it. And Tammy says, a driveway moment with Hedy, just like NPR. And Paula says, happy birthday, dear Greg. And Amy says, A+++. 30 minutes tonight. Love you, Hedy. And Marcia says, fabulous. And people are laughing. Amy says that I nailed it. And Ed completely agrees. And Marilu says, wow, nice. Yay!
Okay.
Yay, Hedy.
May I tuck it away? Thank you very much. Goodbye. I should say goodbye.
It's time. Yes.
Bye. Thank you. I'm busy crying.
You did it.
I'm emotional.
Michelle says, our artist beatnik. I love the look.
Goodbye, all of you.